Well, hello, everyone. Today, Mary Peters and myself, Teresa Lawson, will be offering a presentation on how to use the RLV Relive Hemp Oil that is new on the market. And we're hoping that what we have to share with you will be very informative. Again, my name is Teresa Lawson, and my background is in nursing. I am also a certified functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner, and I work with the team at healthfamilylife.com. So I encourage you to check out our website. You can read more about my story at our website. We've been with Relive Products and the Relive Company since 2007. I had amazing results with lots of different health issues in our family, and we continue to use the products every day. And now we have many grandchildren and our adult children taking the products as well. Mary?
Hello, my name is Mary Peters, and I'm a registered nurse. And I, like Teresa, have been on the Relive products for a long time, over 23 years actually. And I started on it to see family results with a lot of different things that we were struggling with. And over the years, our family has had wonderful results. We have 9 children and 8 grandchildren that are all using this. And what we're going to do now is talk to you about a brand new product that has just come out and the health benefits that will be available for that.
Trying to get my screen to advance here. Sorry about that. Okay, so I want to talk for just a minute about the 2 different kinds of cannabis plants. That's where the CBD oil, the hemp oil, comes from. Well, first we have the hemp plant, which you see in the picture on the left, and then we have the marijuana plant, which is a picture on the right. And if you look at these pictures, you can see obvious differences. The leaf formation is basically the same. However, the hemp plant has kind of a feathery leaf. You can see on the edges of the leaves, it's kind of feathery. And the marijuana plant is a much more refined leaf. And we're going to be talking about the differences between what the hemp plant and the marijuana plant have to offer the human body. The hemp plant properties are that it contains less than 0.3% THC. And THC is what causes the mind-altering effects that people worry about with the marijuana plant. So the hemp plant contains less than 0.3% of THC. It also contains 20% of the CBD. Now the CBD is what we're going to focus on in this topic today, because the CBD is what actually helps the body to function properly. The hemp plant contains all the same cannabinoids as marijuana without the THC. It's used to make many textiles. It's the strongest natural fiber in the world. And we have food-grade grown hemp plants that are used for human consumption. And that is what our products are made with, a food-grade grown hemp plant. And this hemp plant is organically grown. We're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. Now, the marijuana plant properties are that this contains more than 20% of the THC. It contains only 10% of the CBD, so much less CBD than the hemp plant. And it's not used in textile production. And the marijuana plant, the high THC levels in there are what have the mind-altering effects that people worry about.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the endocannabinoid system. This is a biological system that really has been discovered recently in 1992, but it has been studied for over 25 years. And what they found is that this system helps to balance our body. It helps to give us that equilibrium of our body and our cells, which affects our brain, our nervous system, and the immune system. So there are 2 types of receptors in our body. We're going to start with CBD1. Now, these are the receptors that focus on the brain. And when you think about that, within our brain, it helps us with coordination, movement, how we perceive pain, our emotions, our mood, how we think, helps to maybe have a stronger appetite or less of an appetite, and helps us with our memory. So these are the CBD1 receptors. Now the CBD2 is more focused on our body, receptors within our entire body. So you look at the immune system, and that's throughout our entire body, and that affects inflammation and pain. And when our inflammatory markers go up, this puts us in a position to have a higher risk of chronic diseases, heart disease, cancer. Those are all things that are very, diabetes. Those are chronic diseases. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next slide, and we're going to look at how does the CBD hemp oil work in our body. What it does is it helps our body to naturally use its own endocannabinoid system by activating different receptors. The first one is the adenosine, and this is what helps with anti-inflammatory and anti-anxiety effects. When you decrease inflammation, you're decreasing pain. When you decrease anxiety, you are going to feel more relaxed and stress-free. So those are activated. The dopamine receptors, you think about dopamine is what creates a feeling of pleasure and reward. It helps us to stay motivated. And when our dopamine levels are low, we feel less motivated, maybe decreased enthusiasm for things in our life. So what the CBD hemp oil does is it activates those dopamine receptors to help us with brain function, the cognition, motor control, keep us motivated, and also the rewards mechanism. And lastly, it will activate our serotonin levels. Now, serotonin helps us with our mood, to balance our mood. And in higher amounts, it helps with keeping us having a more antidepressant effect. So what this basically does, just in summary, is that this system balances our hormones, and it has an effect on our endocrine system.
Okay, now I'd like to talk a little bit about why CBD or hemp oil is very important for our bodies. Our bodies are inflamed. We live in a world, unfortunately, where there is a lot of inflammation, and we're exposed to a lot of inflammatory factors. One way our bodies are inflamed are through environmental toxins, and they're all around us. I live on a farm, and my husband works with herbicides, and we're exposed to those in this farming community, and that's something that can't be avoided. There's also insecticides. I'll close my window here. There's lots of trucks going by. There's also insecticides used on the crops. My husband does not use those, but there are crops all around us where we live where the farmers are spraying insecticides, usually they hire people to spray from airplanes. So that's in the air. And then heavy metals. We're exposed to heavy metals as well. And as you can see in the picture, this affects our wildlife. Another way that our bodies are inflamed is through chronic biological infections, such as bacteria, viruses, fungus, and molds. And we are exposed to these all the time. And many of us have weakened immune systems, and because of that, we tend to succumb to these viruses, bacteria, fungus, and molds, and we become ill.
Another way that our body becomes inflamed is by what we put in our body, the foods that we eat. It inflames our guts, and when your digestive system is inflamed, you're going to have poor elimination. You're going to increase toxicity. So when you have something like donuts, which are high in sugar and fat, the sugar will trigger a release of inflammatory messengers called cytokines, and those are going to tell your body to get inflamed. When you have high fatty foods, that will trigger something within our adipose tissue or our fatty tissue to become inflamed. And all of this will disrupt our hormones. And now we're going to look at the immune system. Now, the immune system is something that we call it's systemic, so it affects your entire body. So when your body's immune system is working, when it's working properly, it protects us from disease. But when there's a lot of inflammation within our body, from what Teresa talked about with the environmental toxins, the biological infections, and the food we put in our body, our inflammatory markers keep going up. And our body will attack the healthy cells, and it will result in many of these autoimmune diseases that are really so prevalent with so many people today that weren't really even around many years ago. And when you look at even the skin issues, that's something from within that's not working correctly, and it comes out in the skin with psoriasis and the eczema. And this basically can lead to chronic infections.
Another reason why the hemp oil is very important is because of brain inflammation. And most of us deal with some brain inflammation of one kind or another, many of us without even realizing it. But then there are also people who have more severe brain inflammation causing actual mental health issues. The CBD hemp oil is important because it addresses this inflammation within our bodies. And I also like to encourage people to check out the videos, free workshop videos at our website. Mary and I have a website with a team of women. It's healthfamilylife.com. We have free workshop videos on our website for you to learn how to reduce inflammation within your body. But brain inflammation can be expressed as brain fog, as migraines, epilepsy in some people, anxiety, PTSD, ADD, and ADHD. It can also be expressed as autism and even as insomnia.
Okay, so how do we use this new Relive product, this hemp oil? So remember, what this actually does is it helps to create our own body's natural use within our endocannabinoid system. So we're actually getting those receptors going. So the full spectrum is actually, when you think about full, just think of the full amount of compounds that are available. And you can see on the screen, the CBC, CBG, these are all compounds that help to activate those receptors that help with inflammation, anxiety, cognition, motivation. And then also within this full spectrum, it contains plant terpenes. And these help with, this actually comes from different fruits and vegetables and all the properties that help with that. And those are called flavonoids, which have an antioxidant effect, which helps with cancer. And when we talk about an entourage effect, just think about the full entourage effect of all of the products this product helping with. The one thing is that this does have 0.3 THC, which is that very small amount. So if someone is looking for a product that is a guaranteed THC free, then you may want to look at our isolates. But this full spectrum basically gives you the full array of all of the different results that you can have. Okay. Now the CBD hemp oil, which is the hemp isolate, right here the THC has been completely removed. You do not have the terpenes or the flavonoids. And, a person can get started on this. And really, if you try the full spectrum and that's not tolerated well, you can try this. Okay. Now the Relive hemp oil, this just comes in a different dosage, which is the 500. And again, it's the same thing. So if people are getting started, they can either start with the 750 or the 500. And Teresa's going to go over a little bit on how to get started. But this is the third choice that you can have. And its THC is completely removed. It does not have the terpenes or the flavonoids. It is, if requested by the consumer, they can get started. Or if the full spectrum is poorly tolerated, they could use this as well.
Okay, so we have a little picture here of our 3 RLV hemp oil products. They are all made, as I said earlier, from organic hemp. They are non-GMO. They are in MCT oil, and if you're not familiar with that, that is a highly refined coconut oil. And the beautiful thing about the MCT oil is that the oil goes straight from the gut to the liver. So this provides really good brain energy for us. This MCT oil provides good brain energy. It's a very healthy fat. And the rule of thumb when using these products is to start low and go slow. So the recommendations we have are to you place it under your tongue because it comes in of obviously the droppers. You place it under the tongue, and we are suggesting you start really low, like 2 to 4 drops under the tongue, and let it stay there for like 1 minute, 1 full minute to absorb into the bloodstream, and then swallow it. And the reason that we suggest starting so low with 2 to 4 drops is just to see how the person tolerates the product, because it is going directly into the bloodstream. And then the goal is to work up to 1 dropperful 2 times per day. That is the recommended dosage on the product label. You could start with full spectrum unless the consumer asks specifically for an isolate, or if they know that they have an issue with the THC, perhaps they know they have some kind of sensitivity to that. You could start with the full spectrum if they request that. That's the one that I like to work with first. Or, as I said, if they want the isolate, that would be fine too. And then you can also switch to the isolate if the person tries the full spectrum and is not happy with the results for whatever reason. You can have them switch to the isolate if needed or if it's requested by them. And once again, follow-up is key, just as with anything we do with the Relive products, because we as distributors come with the product. So follow-up is very key to help people to get the results that they are looking for. I wanted to add a little disclaimer. Relive does not make any claims to cure, treat, or prevent disease. These products, as all of our Relive products, are simply to help the body function better, to function well. And I again encourage you to check out the website that Mary and I have with our team. It's healthfamilylife.com, and you will find a host of information there to help you learn to reduce inflammation within your body.